Welcome back to video number 2. This video is going to be discussing the accommodations of Harry and Meghan while in Nigeria, as well as why they got those accommodations due to her heritage. You're not going to want to miss this video. Let's jump in. Let's go. Really quickly, before we get into the main story, I just wanted to point out, remember when Meghan Markle said that her daughter said, "Mama, I see me in you." And then Meghan gave that whole speech to the kids about, "I see me in all of you." Because remember, she's trying to make herself into a role model. She even said on that panel, "I hope I'm worthy of the title." Well, we know she's plagiarized multiple things in the past. I've done multiple videos on that. But guess what? I see you because in you, I see me, by Lisa Schroeder. And I was like, oh my God, here we go. And then somebody else on Twitter pointed out it could be from this book. And I was like, what book? You guys, the book is called I See Me in You. I mean, oh my God. And really, she wants you to believe that a 2-year-old said that. Well, I mean, her children are advanced. Remember, Archie's first word was crocodile. Then it got changed to Archie's first word was Grammy Diana. So their children are very advanced. All right, let's move on now. I want you guys to remember that when Harry and Meghan went to Nigeria, 2 out of 3 people there live below the poverty line, and more than 40% of the population, almost half the population, earn less than $1 a day. Hunger is one of the most significant problems that they have in Nigeria, along with illness, disease, poverty, and all these other things. Keep in mind that when Harry and Meghan went to that lunch where she wore that white tube top, they had 5 different offerings of food, and Harry and Meghan didn't eat. So would anybody here be shocked to know that Harry and Meghan stayed in a luxury presidential suite while they were in Nigeria, and the officials have revealed that they've already invited them back for later on this year, and it's £3,000 a night. Now, as hotels go, that's kind of cheap, except in Nigeria. Now, they were supposed to be staying at the Transcore Hilton, but for security and logistics, because God knows they had a 14-car convoy with, machine guns, and that wasn't enough. For their security, they moved to Fraser Suites. So Harry and Meghan, their security, Invictus Game directors and aides. Yeah, Invictus Game directors were there. Shocking, because we never heard about Invictus Games the whole trip. They apparently took over the entire top floor of this Fraser Suites in central Abuja, and that was their base for the trip, which started on Friday. So Fraser Suites, which, by the way, I've never heard of, has partner hotels in London and in Paris. And this is how they describe themselves. They are the undisputed choice of business and leisure travelers because they have impeccable facilities and services and a high secure location, which, considering the crime rate there, is extremely important. Harry and Meghan were living in a 4-bedroom a night executive penthouse. 4 bedrooms just for the 2 of them. It came with its own living room, its own dining room, and views of the capital of Nigeria. So this is where they were going to change their clothes throughout the trip. The place, by the way, just as an FYI, has private gardens, a swimming pool, a gym, and 2 restaurants. But let's be honest, they ate in their suite and they were not seen out in public because it was probably too dangerous. And a staff member said that they were told they were not to speak about them at all. But now that they're okay and they're gone, now we can talk about them. They apparently left Monday morning very early on a British Airways flight back to London. So the question is, when they got to London, did they stay there? Did Harry go back and try to see his dad? Or did they go right back to Montecito? Now, this particular hotel worker said something very interesting. He said, everyone loves Meghan because of her Nigerian heritage. How many times do I have to say it? Somebody needs to do an accurate DNA test on her. Now, a couple of other interesting little things besides the facts that they were living in the lap of luxury while everybody around them was living in abject poverty, and they turned their noses up at the 5-course meal that was offered at the luncheon while half of the country was going hungry. I just want to point something out. Remember that Meghan said thank you to Nigeria for welcoming me home after discovering her heritage. And she claims that the first thing that she did was she called her mother to discuss the findings. People have asked her what tribe she was from, and her response was, I don't know, I'll have to look into that. But that would have been on the DNA test. Well, let's not forget that she also wrote, from Malta, the land from which my great-grandmother hailed, felt like home on her Tig blog. Yes, here's what she wrote. When I was asked to go to Malta, the land where my great-grandmother came from, I said yes without hesitation. It's a beautiful island, a dream for anyone who relishes culture and history. And keep in mind, in 2015, Elle magazine took Meghan to Malta to rediscover her roots because Meghan said that her great-grandmother was from Malta. And they took all these pictures of Meghan walking through Malta and wearing, traditional clothing. And then come to find out, Meghan's great-grandmother moved to Malta. She did not have one drop of Maltese blood, nothing. She's nothing. And when the shoot was over, they then found out that actually she was not from Malta, and that's why Elle magazine killed the story and never ran any of the pictures, and they didn't resurface again until years later. But that didn't stop Meghan Markle from saying that she looked like people from Malta. She blended in. She tried to weave the story, but Elle magazine decided that they were absolutely not going to print something that they couldn't verify. And so now you have Meghan claiming that she's 43% Nigerian, something that really isn't possible. And nobody's asking her for information or proof of any of this. And of course, now she's saying the same thing. Oh, I go there and I have the facial features and I look like them. It's the exact same thing she said before. So now you know why people just don't believe anything she has to say. So I got to be honest, I feel really bad for that guy that works at the hotel because remember, he said that the reason people there loved her was because she claimed Nigerian heritage. And I think it's terrible that they went to such a poor country. They didn't even bring gifts for the school kids, multimillionaires. Instead, they sucked off the Nigerian people what they could get and they went home. How sad is that? So that leaves me with just one question. Who paid for all of this? Because Harry and Meghan didn't. Did the Nigerian people pay for this? People that are already in horrible poverty? Did Invictus pay for this with money that should have gone to wounded veterans? That's what I want to know. My goodness, that's a lot of information. Okay, don't forget to hit the like button to help me with my algorithm. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet. And follow me over to video number 3. Let's go.